Muhammad was the founder of Islam. According to Islamic doctrine, he was a prophet, sent to present and confirm the monotheistic teachings preached previously by Adam, Abraham, Moses, Jesus, and other prophets. He is viewed as the final prophet of God in all the main branches of Islam, though some modern denominations diverge from this belief. Muhammad united Arabia into a single Muslim polity, with the Quran as well as his teachings and practices forming the basis of Islamic religious belief. Born approximately 570s, year of the elephant, in the Arabian city of Mecca, Muhammad was orphaned at the age of 6. He was raised under the care of his paternal grandfather Abd al-Muttalib, and upon his death, by his uncle Abu Talib. In later years he would periodically seclude himself in a mountain cave named Hira for several nights of prayer. When he was 40, Muhammad reported being visited by Gabriel in the cave, and receiving his first revelation from God. 3 years later, in 610, Muhammad started preaching these revelations publicly, proclaiming that God is one, that complete submission, Islam, to God is the right way of life, din, and that he was a prophet and messenger of God, similar to the other prophets. The followers of Muhammad were initially few in number, and experienced hostility from Meccan polytheists. He sent some of his followers to Abyssinia in 615 to shield them from persecution, before he and his followers migrated from Mecca to Medina, then known as Yathrib, in 622. This event, the Hijra, marks the beginning of the Islamic calendar, also known as the Hijri calendar. In Medina, Muhammad united the tribes under the constitution of Medina. In December 629, after 8 years of intermittent fighting with Meccan tribes, Muhammad gathered an army of 10,000 Muslim converts and marched on the city of Mecca. The conquest went largely uncontested and Muhammad seized the city with little bloodshed. In 632, a few months after returning from the farewell pilgrimage, he fell ill and died. By the time of his death, most of the Arabian Peninsula had converted to Islam. (569) Death of his father, Abdullah. 570 Possible date of birth, 12 or 17 Rabi al-Awwal, in Mecca, Arabia. 577 Death of his mother, Amina. 583 His grandfather transfers him to Syria. 595 Meets and marries Khadijah. 597 Birth of Zainab, his first daughter, followed by Ruqya, Kulthum, and Fatima Zahra. 610 Quranic revelation begins in the cave of Hira on the Jabal an-Nur, the mountain of light near Mecca. 610 At age 40, angel Gabriel, was said to appear to Muhammad on the mountain and call him the Prophet of Allah. 610 Begins in secret to gather followers in Mecca. 613 Begins spreading message of Islam publicly to all Meccans. 614 Heavy persecution of Muslims begins. 615 Immigration of a group of Muslims to Ethiopia. 616 Banu Hashim clan boycott begins. 619 The Year of Sorrows, Khadijah, his wife, and Abu Talib, his uncle, die. 619 Banu Hashim clan boycott ends. 620 Isra and Mi'raj, reported ascension to heaven to meet God. 622 Hijra, immigration to Medina, called Yathrib. 623 Battle of Badr. 625 Battle of Uhud. 627 Battle of the Trench, also known as the Siege of Medina. 628 The Meccan tribe of Quraysh and the Muslim community in Medina signed a 10-year truce called the Treaty of Hudaybiyah. 629 Conquest of Mecca. 632 Farewell pilgrimage, event of Ghadir Qum, and death, in what is now Saudi Arabia. Muhammad was middle-sized, did not have lank or crisp hair, was not fat, had a white circular face, wide black eyes, and long eyelashes. When he walked as though he went down a declivity, He had the seal of prophecy between his shoulder blades. He was bulky. His face shone like the moon. He was taller than middling stature but shorter than conspicuous tallness. He had thick, curly hair. The plaits of his hair were parted. His hair reached beyond lobe of his ear. His complexion was azure, bright, luminous. Muhammad had a wide forehead, and fine, long, arched eyebrows which did not meet. Between his eyebrows there was a vein which distended when he was angry. The upper part of his nose was hooked, he was thick-bearded, had smooth cheeks, a strong mouth, and his teeth were set apart. He had thin hair on his chest. His neck was like the neck of an ivory statue, with the purity of silver. Muhammad was proportionate, stout, firm-gripped, even of belly and chest, broad-chested and broad-shouldered.